Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube. It's been a super long time since I recorded anything, and frankly, just like everything I do, sometimes it gets a little bit long-winded, and I'll try to stay pretty short with that in mind. Also, it's not really totally a calculated uh, sort of informational, video, but it might cover a couple different things in it. But ultimately, what I want to kind of show you guys, I want to show you a shoot of an engagement session I did. And the reason I want to show it to you is because I kind of want to try to show you and teach on sort of my process and how I'm trying to sort of approach a session in particularly, anything that's portrait based more than anything that's capturing, a story uh, based, like a wedding day or something like that. Because it's definitely different. You're gonna spend about, a couple of hours with two people for the most part, and just gonna be photographing them and just getting them in and out of places and out of situations and out of emotions and in my case, I shoot extremely close. So for me, it's sort of getting them to get comfortable and to just kind of fall into some kind of a natural state of being, rather than that, the sort of default that we either go into in front of a camera or you know, sort of hiding behind those characters or personality, whether you're shy or whether you're more a little bit more private or secluded kind of a person or just not as intimate of a person or anything like that. So a lot of it has to do with bringing out all those things. For me personally, that's usually the main basis of shooting portraits, shooting a portrait session. Like I don't ever go into a session really knowing exactly what I'm going to do. I kind of take it by, I go by ear, how things feel, how the couple is. Most of the time, I never photographed these people. A lot of the times, I never even met them before. So this is the first time I actually meet them and photograph them and try to get them to be intimate and personal. And those are a lot of things to do. Like we barely intimate and personal with the people we know well. So that's a tricky thing to do. And for me, it's mostly about trying to break that barrier. Because at the end of the day, you can take a great image, but if I feel that there's no connection, like there's somebody's feeling, self-conscious or insecure or anything like that shows through the image, at the end of the day, it could be a good image, but it's not a great image. It's not something like, it's not my goal. So my goal is sort of to get to the point where we can almost feel like we're like a fly on the wall, or like the photographer was a fly on the wall, and or even like I think that in this session there is a photograph where the couple like just felt so comfortable in a regular, like looking at the camera, cheese smile, not even cheese smile, but like a smile kind of photo. You felt almost like a friend took it, like when you're hanging out with friends and um and you just kind of just somebody's like, hey, let me take a picture, and you're like, hey, and you take a photo, and it's like, these people, you're very close to them, and it's not like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking about what I'm doing. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Anything like that. So this is kind of what this is about. It's not so much about technical or even composition or even anything like that. I do like this session quite a bit. I thought it was a really cute sort of session with this too, and the best part about it is that he's very quiet, very sort of what's the word, sort of very, very, very mild tone, very sort of like, you know, I don't know what the word is. I'm thinking it was secluded, but he's more like a type of person who just kind of doesn't really want the attention to himself, or doesn't really necessarily is all that comfortable in front of a camera. So a lot of those things. The girl, on the other hand, she's also kind of not necessarily like 100% comfortable in front of a camera, but she's concerned about how he feels and how they are, and every couple's concerned about how they look and how they're dressed and how they look as a couple and how they will come across it, or do they look nice, or all this stuff. But all in all, I think the girl was definitely my in. When I started sort of photographing, I knew she was going to be my in, like into getting them into that place, and little by little, just kind of getting into that place. Now, um, I'm not gonna make this super long because I think that we can spend time on this for much longer than I want to, and like I said, I sometimes tend to talk too long, just like about right now. So I'm gonna get on it. So this is my very first frame of the day. Now, this is not an editing. It's not an editing video, educational video, or it's definitely not going to be a like I said, shooting or settings or lighting or anything like that. So it's mostly about a portrait. Now, when we got, and this is what the original raw file looks like. And I'm probably going to do another one. My editing style has been changing recently, so I'm probably going to do another video shortly about editing because I do feel pretty strong about some of the stuff I've done to change. And I'll explain my rationale behind it and all that stuff. So, but anyway, so it's somewhere around there. And we met at a park. That's all. We said, like, let's meet at this park. We met there. We started walking. I chatted up with them a little bit. Just ask them a few questions. Just kind of make reference to some of the stuff that we've been talking about, or compliment them, or something like that. So I knew he was a little bit shy. He just didn't know what exactly what we're gonna do. Like, he never met me. That's always weird, especially if you're a guy and you have some other guy photographing your girl, or photographing you guys, or anything like that. That's all those things sort of come into play. And one of the other things, as far as engagement sessions, I'll tell you this. I think they're super important. Even if a couple does not buy one, I tend to invite them out for coffee, and I tell them to come, photo ready. And then afterwards, I'll send them a gallery. It's not for download or anything like that, but it's for them to just view it, for me to have that time. And a lot of times, they even choose to, purchase those sessions. I think that's something that they eventually look at and go, it's like, oh my God, those photos are really cool, and they're before we got married and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, financially, I think it's not a bad investment. But I think ultimately, I shot maybe like 2-3 weddings in the last 4 years where I never even had any time with the couple before the wedding. Maybe more than that, but not too much more. But definitely like maybe only one in the last year or so. So, and they were from out of town. And even the day of the rehearsal, I came and saw them, and we got to meet face to face, and I took a couple of photos during the rehearsal, and maybe I told them to look at me a couple of times, and at least we had that. So that's the very important part of it. But so then I knew there was some tension, and we're gonna have to sort of get past this part. But this is the second frame, and I'm not gonna go through every single frame because I shot over 1,000. But I'm going to show you the first few. So we go to this park. I'm just looking for a spot that looks decent. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm actually trying to get them away from people. There's people walking around everywhere, and I'm just trying to give them a little bit of space, even though a couple of people walk by us a couple of times. But I'm trying to give them a little bit of space, a little bit of privacy. So, like, as you can tell, I'm not getting close. I'm not going to get close anytime right at the beginning, especially if I know somebody's a little bit shy. So, like, I'm just watching them. I'm watching their interaction. I'm shooting a prom shot, basically, the old famous prom shot. And then I start kind of like moving into the direction I like to go into, which is, get close, like, get next to each other. I like, I depend on the couple or something. I just want them, like, I want you guys to like peanut butter and jelly, but, sometimes I like, belly buttons touching or anything like that. And once we get comfortable, I'm like, closer, like, get in there, dude. So those are, and the voice with everybody is different. Like, everyone has a different sort of chemistry. Like, you can sort of, hopefully, I'm pretty intuitive, so I can pick it up pretty well. I can tell someone's pretty apprehensive and more reserved, and or is it just shyness, or if it's like, I hate this, or if it's like, we just don't do this, we're not this kind of couple, or like some couple. A lot of the times, I have one person who like is kissy and the other one's not, like my wife and I, and she hears this, she'll kill me. But I love to kiss, it's my thing. But I don't know if she really is, so, but I make her sometimes, but so this same thing, chemistry happens in sessions. So like, I usually kind of, once I get more comfortable with them, I should kind of, hey dude, take advantage, this is your opportunity to like do all those things to her that she won't let you do on the norm. So, uh, so yeah, so that's kind of where it goes. And then I'm trying to get close, but look at this. I mean, like 4 smiles. Like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna barely look at you. And one funny thing about couples is like if you actually have a couple go like just stare into each other's eyes and just find that passion and just like look into each other's. It's I'm telling you, nobody can do that. Like most people cannot do that. Like it's just like all this awkwardness happens. So this is kind of what it is, and it's fine. Like you walk through it, like I'm actually literally walking these people through it, and this I'm walking them through the first maybe 5-10 frames or something, so you can kind of see where I've started at and what I'm dealing with. But they still feel a little bit forced, and even this one that's nice. I think I ended up picking it. It feels still feels like, oh, I gotta have you here. I'm just gonna pull you and give you a kiss. But this still feels sort of this sort of like I'm still back here. He was about to give her a spin. I don't even know if he ever did. Probably not because I shoot a lot. I would have probably shot him just in case. But so same thing. Uncomfortable smiles, all these other things like this, and he's disconnected. That's one thing that, for example, and I tell my couples this a lot of time. And this is not in reflection of the couple. This is not a reflection of how much they love each other or anything like that for any means at all. It's just you're in a photo shoot all of a sudden. It's like, ugh, I don't know. I'm like, so just holding someone, you think it's like, okay, this is okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And so eyes are super important for me. Like if your eyes are up here, that's one of the things I always tell people. Listen, I'm not gonna give you a lot of direction on anything, but if I'm gonna tell you to do something, is if you don't know what to do, just look down. Just look down. And I don't need you to like stare into each other's eyes this far apart from each other, but just look down. Just not no eyes up here. And I explained to them straight up. It just feels like you're disconnected. Like you feel like you're somewhere else. So, and that's what he does. And I've seen that sometimes in some majestic shots in some majestic places, and I feel this sort of like they're like, oh, the photographer's like, get close, or like the forehead babies, which I learned what the actual term is, forehead babies. I used to ask people for that before I heard of the term, or a couple of years ago, whatever, a year or so ago. I will never ask anyone to put their foreheads together anymore. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it looks stupid if you tell someone to do it. Now, some people do it. I even think they did it, but I didn't tell them. So it's more like a natural movement that we're just gonna do it, and they're not gonna go like so many times I've seen of shots of forehead babies, and I can see a smile on one of them, usually the bride or the girl, or a smirk on the guys. So and it bothers me. So I don't do it. I don't think it looks good. It looks forced. So